By the end of this module, learners will be able to apply instructional practices to access the digital generation's preference for just-in-time learning by completing a portfolio entry. They will also be able to apply instructional practices to access the digital generation's preference for instant gratification and immediate rewards, as well as simultaneously looking for deferred gratification and delayed rewards by completing another portfolio entry. Digital learners prefer just-in-time learning. Many educators have been conditioned to teach just-in-case learning. Let me start by asking a question. How many of you had a parent who worked at the job, who worked in the same industry for more than 20 years? Those were different times. In the past, it was common for someone to spend their entire working lifetime at a single career. My dad worked in the same industry for over 4 decades. Now, we live in a Hunger Games economy where it's everyone for themselves. Circumstances are constantly changing, and fundamental uncertainty and instability are the new normal. In their critically acclaimed book, The New Division of Labor: How Computers Are Creating the New Job Market, writers Frank Levy and Richard Mernon state that today's generations of students should not anticipate having 4 to 7 careers. They should anticipate having 10 to 17 or more careers, not jobs working in the same industry, but distinct careers by the time they're 38 years old. To be clear, having 10 to 17 or more careers should not be interpreted as a sign of failure or lack of commitment or self-discipline on the part of modern workers. What it reflects is the new economy and the new employment reality workers are facing today, where the average length of stay in any job will only be about 18 to 36 months. We live in a time of increasingly disposable information. Often knowledge and skills acquired by the age of 20 are obsolete by the age of 40, if not before. As a result, it is easy to project that today's students will have to replace almost their entire body of knowledge several times during their working lives. Increasingly, we're living in a world where people have to manage their careers and constantly figure out what their next move is to keep themselves relevant and employed in an ever-changing economy. The global economy has created a new division of labor that rewards people who can make swift, well-informed decisions utilizing multiple information sources. At the same time, it penalizes those who lack the new basic skills needed for the new workforce. As a result, our students enter a working world where people need continuous upgrading of their skills to stay abreast of, let alone move ahead in careers. In this new working environment, lifelong learning is mandatory because it is the only insurance against being blindsided by the short shelf life of information. Beyond this, because of the rapidly changing nature of the economy, it's easier to project that the top 10 in-demand jobs that will be available 10 years from now probably don't exist today. In the new economy, we are literally preparing students for jobs that don't exist using technologies that haven't been invented to solve problems we haven't even begun to anticipate. So as educators, one of the questions we need to be regularly asking ourselves is this: if our students are competing, not just locally, regionally, or nationally, but also globally, with both people and increasingly machines for jobs and careers that don't yet exist, how do we create learning experiences for a world and a new economy that also don't yet exist? The problem is that education today is primarily organized around the just-in-case model of teaching and learning. The message sent to students is that you have to learn this information just in case it happens to be on the exam, just in case you might need to know it in order to pass the course, just in case you require it to graduate, and just in case you eventually might want to become an engineer or a writer or a doctor. To be successful, they must embrace a just-in-time mentality. Just in time to learn a new skill, just in time to accomplish a new task, just in time to solve a real-world problem, just in time for a new job, or just in time to fulfill a new passion. Just-in-time teaching and learning is an excellent opportunity to embrace scenario-based instruction, since just-in-time learning calls for learners to have a real-world need or inner drive to learn. Scenarios place them in a position to learn new information or skills while understanding the context of learning. YouTube provides an outlet for participatory culture. If a person needs to learn how to change a flat tire, they can YouTube it. If a person must analyze the content of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, they can YouTube it. If a learner wants to supplement their reading of Shakespeare with video productions, then they can YouTube it. YouTube streams instantaneous information in the form of small video clips right to learners' devices, just in time to save the day, just in time to learn a new skill, or just in time to explore their new passion. The next learning attribute involves the digital learner's preference for both instant gratification and immediate rewards, as well as deferred gratification and delayed rewards. Many educators prefer deferred gratification and delayed rewards because that was their experience growing up. Let me explain why I'm saying two things at the same time. Deferred gratification and delayed reward says that if you study hard and if you keep focused, if you behave and if you attend regularly, you will eventually be rewarded. You will be rewarded with a good letter grade, acceptance to a good school, or the chance for a good job. I'll be the first to say that it's absolutely essential for students to have this kind of focus and discipline to look into the long term. But at the same time, you need to understand why digital culture resonates so strongly with this generation. The digital world has always been there for them. There's never been a time in their lives where it hasn't existed, so they have internalized it and take the digital world for granted. Digital culture provides them with exactly what they need and want most. They want constant affirmation, lots of attention, and the ability to distinguish themselves from others. The digital generations have embraced social media and social media tools as their own, in part, I might add, to exclude their parents and older generations. As a result, many of them are more available to their friends and their devices than they are to their families or teachers. Here's why. Things like cell phones and digital technology and social networking tools and video games all tell the user that if they put in the hours and if they master the game or the tool, they will be rewarded with the next level, with a win, with a place on the high scorers list, or with a skill that's respected by their peers. What they do determines exactly what they get, and what they get is obviously worth the hundreds of hours of effort they put in to develop these skills. That's deferred gratification and delayed reward. New technologies excel at giving deferred gratification and delayed reward. But at the same time, video games simultaneously give kids immediate feedback for their efforts and quench their thirst for instant gratification. And the payoff for any action is usually extremely clear. When game developers create new video games, they intentionally design them to require the players to make a decision every 1/2 to 1 second. And they ensure that players are rewarded or punished for those same decisions every 7 to 10 seconds. That's immediate gratification and reward. Unfortunately, on average, students got to ask a question, make a personal decision, or get positively reinforced for their actions about once every 35 minutes, which might partially explain why there are so many students in our classrooms who are waiting for the video game version of school to go on sale so they don't have to attend traditional schools anymore. How can we incorporate both immediate gratification and rewards, as well as deferred gratification and delayed rewards, into our classroom experiences? Strategies that work. Use short audio or video clips for sharing information related to student progress and performance. Use a cell phone video camera to share video comments and quickly give students meaningful feedback. They don't have to wait for extended periods of time, as they would if the comments were in written form. Use music and sound to cue students and as an incentive for students during classwork. Use music as a reward for beginning and maintaining their workflow. Research shows that students who listen to music complete their tasks more quickly and come up with better ideas than those who don't, because the music improved their mood. When students are forced to sit idly for long periods of time, as they do listening to the teacher talk, they get restless. Students must be mentally and physically invested during the learning process. Incorporate movement exercises in class to channel students' energy. Go Noodle is a wonderful app to include brain breaks and movement into a lesson. The research shows that students will pay attention, stay on task, and feel more engaged because They prefer to be moving, not always trapped in their seats. There are also other wonderful strategies and apps to consider. Kahoot allows educators to create a fun, interactive game show atmosphere to test content knowledge. Digital learning games have been developed to provide instant gratification and immediate feedback. Games like Minecraft have so much potential to tie into curriculum while being powerful, immersive, and hands on. Classcraft adds the element of gamification to the classroom. It is filled with fun, fantasy, and reward, all while students complete their class assignments with more motivation and commitment. Finally, post exemplars in the classroom or online to showcase hard work and promote student excellence.